What's going on, everybody? I am Audrey Paul, and this is There It Is. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. This is There It Is. I'm your host, Audrey Paul, and we have a very special guest today. I would say a sweet guest, but we'll get a little bit further deep in that right now. But for right now, I want to cut to Savannah with the quote of the day.
Baking is love made visible.
So with that quote of the day, you might already know, but I just want to go ahead and bring on our guest, who I'm honored to bring on. We actually just saw her last week, this past weekend, because she was delivering a cake. All right, so Barbara Williford, the owner of Royalty Sweet Shop. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for letting me be here.
No,
I appreciate you.
Thank you for coming. I mean, we have worked together for how long? It's been years.
2 or 3 years at least.
Yes, and we got some special things coming up with our Let Them Eat cake next year. So look forward to that.
That's always a great opportunity.
So as the owner of Royalty Sweet Shop, I want to actually go a little bit deeper into the past, like way back. I mean, not that far back, but I want to kind of dig into what got you to where we are right now, if that's all right.
Absolutely. I love to share my story. So, 15, 16 years ago, a friend of mine said, let's take a cake class at a local hobby store. And it's like, okay, so it was every Saturday, a couple of hours a day, for about 3 or 4 Saturdays. And we went in knowing nothing. We learned some skills. And then they were having another one. And we had daughters the same age. I think they were around 10 or 11. And she said, let's take them and have a mother-daughter day. So we did that and started out just doing stuff with our daughters. And it is so funny because both of us ended up starting to make cakes for everybody. People were wanting, us to make them cakes. So it just grew from a couple of classes. She's in Houston making cakes for people, and I'm here making cakes for people, and it just started with a couple of classes with our kiddos.
So, okay, let me go back to that. So a friend was like, all right, they're having a cake making class. Now before that, were you in the cakes at all, or you just like, let's do it?
I mean, I would make a box cake for the family. Okay. This like everybody else, just make a box cake, slap on the canned icing, eat the other half of canned icing, And, I never crossed my mind to even do this. I always bought my kids cakes from Walmart, Brookshire's, I never crossed my mind to make cakes.
Really? Until your friend was like, let's go to this class.
And still, we were just doing it with our girls. We never thought to make it for other people, until everybody saw our cake posted on social media. Oh, can you make this? Can you make that? And we just grew from there.
Wow, okay. So then your daughter, because you have a pretty large family, so which daughter is this specifically that helps you do this?
Okay, so I have 3 boys and 1 girl. A couple of daughter-in-laws, but it's my daughter, the youngest one, that we did this. And she actually helped me with the business part-time till she moved off and left me.
Oh, man. So is that where the Queen and Princess came in?
It is. Okay. It is. She would always tell everybody she's the princess, and I would have to remind her I was the queen. And so that's where we got Royalty Sweet Shop, was a play off of our relationship.
Yes, yes. All right, so you started doing the classes. You came back, people were hitting you DMs, sliding into the DMs.
Yeah.
What is going on? Can we get these cakes? And then what made you say, you know what, I can do this? What made you take that leap?
We had a lot of friends and family would ask us to make cakes, but it was when strangers or friends of friends would ask us to make cakes, and we were like, we really need to be, making some money off of this. We're spending a lot of money. We need to be making some money.
Exactly, yeah.
And so it just kind of grew from there. We started investigating how to run this as a business, cottage laws in our state, what we needed, as far as to be legal in the state, tax purposes, all that other fun business stuff.
But that's interesting you brought that up, because I'm really not aware of cottage laws. So how does that exactly work?
I wasn't aware of it either until I started investigating. Each state has cottage laws, which allows people to be entrepreneurs out of their homes through baking. So their guidelines, their laws we have to follow. We have to have a food handler certification in Texas and Louisiana. So you have to know what you're doing to keep food safe.
They don't make it easy.
Oh yeah. And then, you just have to follow some laws, some things we can and cannot bake. For example, as long as it's shelf stable, we can bake. If it requires refrigeration to keep it from spoiling, we can't, just to keep people safe. But there are some guidelines that we have to follow. We just can't bake and sell to the public.
With baking, did any of that come after you went to LSUS, or was this before, or how did it all transpire into Royalty Sweet Shop?
Well, I went to LSUS for my degree. I have a degree in psychology, and I actually worked at the university probably 10 years. I worked in continuing education, and then I left there to go teach. So I taught at a local private school for 20 years, and this was something that we just did on the side from my regular job of teaching.
Well, with your psychology degree, because obviously the school thought you were great, because you went straight from earning your degree, and in that same year, then you became director. So how did that work?
I was working in continuing education as a student worker, and then they hired me, they actually hired me as a secretary while I was going to school. And once I got my degree, then I qualified for that position. So I had been working in continuing education for 5 or 6 years before I took that position.
Okay. And then why the change of careers?
I had 3 kids, and it was a lot of hours at LSUS. I was putting in probably 80, 90 hours, and I was traveling a lot. So I actually had my daughter, and 2 weeks later I did a statewide conference, so she had to go on the road with me. Not 2 weeks, 6 weeks later. She was 6 weeks old.
Still,
it was still, she was a baby, so it was just a lot. It was a lot for my husband to have to pick up at home. And I found this job at this private school that allowed me the same schedule as my kids. I was there for them. So it was God kind of put that in my lap and I ran with it.
He always does.
Yes.
So what you're talking about right now, that was the science department head of Calvary, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then you said you did that for how long?
I was at Calvary for 20 years.
20 years.
I started in middle school and moved up to high school, and that's when I took the head of the science department while I was there. So it was great being there. I loved it.
Yeah. And then why'd you stop? I mean, I know 20 years is a long time, but why'd you stop?
COVID. COVID hit, and my husband was like, online teaching is tough. It was really tough. It was tough for the kids. It was tough for the teachers. It was tough for everybody. And he just said, just quit. Quit. This is a great time to quit. Retire. Go with your business full time. And he didn't have to twist my arm because we started having grandbabies.
Yes.
So that allowed me time freedom to be with them too.
Okay. And when you say him, who are you talking
My
about?
husband.
Okay.
He's my #1 supporter. He encouraged me to do this full time. So
I mean, that's the best thing in a partner, spouse, significant other, that encouragement.
absolutely.
Of course, when you're going to take that huge leap And they're like, go ahead, do it. I got you.
Yep.
Don't you worry. Don't you worry. So speaking of family, you just took a trip not too long ago, right?
Did.
Really? Where'd you go?
We took almost 2 weeks. We traveled almost 3,000 miles. I was the passenger princess. He drove. But we flew into Denver, spent a couple of days in Denver, went to South Dakota, Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, Custer National Park, Badlands. Then we zipped over to Glacier National Park, Yellowstone, and the Grand Tetons, and Jackson. We ended with Jackson Hole.
Wow.
So it was fun.
Yes. We were kind of reading up a little bit on you, and you said this was number one in all the trips that you've been on? This is number one.
This was the number one that my husband and I took together.
Yes.
You know, our family trips are always going to be amazing, but for us, our solo trip as adults with no kids, that was the top.
Nice. And what makes it the top one? What would make it that top one?
We experienced things we never experienced before. We got outside of our comfort zone. He kayaked for the first time with me. We hiked. We did our geriatric hiking. And we just saw some amazing, areas we had never seen before. It was just breathtaking and awe-inspiring, just stunning.
Yeah, we saw some of the pictures. It was great. Yeah. That was nice. I might need to take a little trip myself.
Oh, definitely.
All right, well, all this talk about family, you talked about the schooling and going for, doing all the schooling. Then from that, you went into director, and then from there, you did 20 years. How do you find time for yourself? You got to take care of you so that you can take care of others, bake the cakes for everybody. How do you find time? And I mean, I'm sure this 2 week, that was great, but specifically on whether it's a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, self-care for you, how do you do that?
It has, since I went full-time, it has taken me a while to figure it out. As a business owner, it's tough. You have all the hats. You're juggling everything, and it's tough. A lot of long hours. I said I went from 80 hours at LSU to 100 now.
Yes.
But I have learned to take Sunday and Monday off. Sunday, I just rest. Monday's usually when I get my running around done and everything. But just take time for yourself. Take those days off. Rest, relax, recoup, whatever you need to do for yourself. That is so important for anybody, but especially business owners who are doing it all. I carve out time to go be with my friends. I've started carving out a couple of hours a day to exercise, which is so important, stress relief, health-wise. So I do get my exercise in. I've picked up reading, so I do at least read, an hour a night before I go to bed. So
that's all the time?
Well, that's not Thursday, Friday, and Saturday
okay.
when I'm slinging the dough. But the other time, I do try to wind down and, carve out some time for myself. It doesn't help to throw in, a facial and a spa day every once in a while.
That's good for you as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I could tell.
Thank you.
So you mentioned reading, which is very good. I've heard numerous times leaders are readers. So Never Lie. Is that one of the books that you would recommend?
Yes, that's a thriller.
Really?
Yes, I would I just discovered that author, Frida McFadden, and she writes thrillers with twist all the way to the end, to the last page. You're like, what? So yeah, that was a recent book I just read. I get to listen to a lot of audibles when I bake, and my boss lets me listen to audibles.
Oh, really? You?
Yeah. So I do listen to a lot of books while I'm decorating. So
That's good. That's good. Okay, so that's a lot of things, which I'm glad, because a lot of times people say, they get scared and they think that you can't shut it off because you'll miss a client, you'll miss a client. But what I've come to figure out is the ones that really want you, they'll wait and they'll maneuver around those hours that you set for yourself. Eventually you're gonna have to be closed and then you'll reopen and then you could get to you. So I'm glad you're finding your self-care time, which is very important.
And you brought up another good point as business owners. You do have to set that limit. Especially when I was kicking this off full time, I would take any order, every order. I would be up all night trying to get them done, and it got too much. And that's when I realized, okay, I need a day off. I need to scale back on my orders. I need to know my limits on what I can and cannot do in a weekend, just to make sure that you put out a good product for people and you're also not overextending yourself. So that's another important thing as a business owner, is know your limits.
Yeah, because it comes quick. Like you think you're doing all these different things and then you really step back and look and you see, oh, this product that I put out, it wasn't my best work.
Right.
And then you start to reflect on maybe because I was tired, because I'm doing so many different things. So I definitely get that. Yeah. But you are still doing quite a bit.
I am. We are picking up with our wedding season.
Yes.
So
yes.
we've got wedding season in the South, I should say, as it starts to cool down a little bit. But yes, I do still have the weddings. We still have the celebrations, celebration cakes. Cookies are a big deal, and I've thrown in some cookie decorating classes.
Really? I have found you to be very delightful on TikTok. You're doing,
well,
you're showing all the different things. And I mean, somebody could actually go on there and kind of learn how to do things from what you're showing on TikTok. So is that kind of specialty dessert stuff that you're doing now with the classes?
Yes, decorated cookies are very popular right now, and a lot of people want to get in and do them themselves, either to start a business or just to do them with family. I do have a lot of couples coming in together. I have a lot of mother-daughters coming in, or grandmothers and granddaughters, and they just want to learn to do this for holidays and, you know, when to get together. You know, and have something fun to do with the family, and it's a learning curve. It took me a couple of years to figure it out, and so I had to take classes, and so it goes back to me teaching. You know, it's an opportunity for me to be back in the classroom, you know, teaching. I do miss that, and so it gives me an opportunity to merge both worlds.
Those two loves.
Right.
And I was going to ask you, does it touch your heart when the mom and daughter duo come in there to learn?
I do. And when they keep coming back every class, it's like, yay! You know, or, you know, they share with me, send me the pictures they did with their grandkids, or, you know, they share the story of, you know, how they're sharing that skill with their family. It does, because that's how we started.
See? So do you think that you're going to make this even bigger as far as the teaching how to do this stuff?
I would like to. That's something that's not being offered in this area very much. I also do cake decorating. So I've done some cake decorating parties. Last year I had someone I know message me and buy a tutoring 101 lesson for their mom for Christmas. And so, you know, it's just, that's something that's not being offered, you know, and I'd like to give that to the community, you know.
So I think you kind of already touched on it, but what do you think about our quote of the day where it says that love or cake is love made visible? It seemed like you already said it, but I want your take on it.
Oh, absolutely 100%. Whether you're making it at home, just you, or for loved ones, or with loved ones, or whether you have a cake artist make it for you, there's a lot of love that goes into it. For the cake artist, there's several hours of love that goes into some of these cakes. But you know, that's a piece of our heart. And I know that that may sound silly to people, but you spend hours pouring yourself into this cake. And that's, that's a part of you. And you just, to love to see people's reactions. And, sometimes you just hate to leave it behind because that's a piece of you. But it is art. And, it's getting to be more extravagant, So, yeah, it's true. It's a true quote.
I would say so. All right, so tell me about Royalty Sweet Shops. What's going on right now?
Well, as I mentioned, we are busy with wedding season. We have holidays coming up, so we're going to have our holiday decorating classes. So we'll have our fall decorating classes, our Halloween decorating classes, our Christmas decorating classes. We have a couple of bridal shows we're going to participate in. I usually do some pop-ups in December with some local businesses, so we need to start working on that since Christmas is coming up. But pretty much, we do partner with some of the businesses and supply some sweets for them and what they're doing. So mainly, I'm excited about the holidays coming up and those cookie decorating classes we're going to be doing. So
very good. They're going to be very fun. What would you say, because you've had a long career, you've done numerous different things, and just from the outside looking in and still knowing you, I believe you're very successful. So our audience would want to know, what do you owe your success to?
God first. He has opened a lot of doors along the way. So got to give it to him. Also the support of your family. Like I mentioned before, my husband is my number one. He's behind me. Sometimes he's pushing me, kicking and screaming, but he's there for me. My entire family has been supportive all along the way. They understand what mom needs to do to take care of her business, and support from my friends. They have been, that's who helped me start this business, were my friends. And then probably my biggest success and supporters are the community that support me, my customers, my clients, other vendors, other businesses that are so supportive. I can't say enough about our community. The other businesses that just root for you and they're your cheerleaders. I'm telling you, our baking community, they are big cheerleaders of mine. Like, we support each other, we help each other, we're there for each other. So it's just a village. It took a village to get me here.
Every time. Good. All right. One more thing I want to ask you is, if there was somebody starting up, say it was another mother-daughter duo, or father-son, or even grandmother, granddaughter, what advice would you give them to get started?
First, I would research the field that you're going in. Make sure that you know what you're in for. Another thing that was helpful for me was to join Facebook groups of bakers. So find a Facebook group of the business you want to start. They can help you with questions, legalities, everything you need to know, from budgeting, how to get started, how to get customers. So definitely, do your research, find other people in the business that are willing to mentor you and help you and be a cheerleader for you and support you, because they're going to have the knowledge and the expertise to help you. And make sure you have a support system behind you, whether it's, you mentioned, a spouse, a significant other, a family, friends. It's not necessary, but it does help, to have that. And then start networking in your community. Start building relationships with other business owners in the community.
So as you know, we have a team of DJs that are exceptional.
Exceptional.
And they put together a couple tunes that all you have to do is name the tune. You don't have to name the artist, just name the tune. Are you ready?
We're gonna give it a try. We're gonna give it a try.
I've never seen a diamond in the flesh.
There you go.
Adele. Go. Ah! Play it again. Play it again.
I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies. And
Gosh.
Ooh. All right, okay. I give you a hint.
Yeah. I'm more nervous about this than the whole podcast.
The hint is Lord. That's who sings.
Lord? What? Lord?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Wait.
So a hint is it has to do with the name of your company.
Oh, royalty. Lord. Oh. Now y'all got me. The name of the song.
Name of the song, that's all you need. Do you give?
I give.
All right, Royals.
Yes! Ah!
You were right there.
Yes!
You were right there. All right, next song.
Gosh, another one?
Yes.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. Lion King. Okay, give me Disney and we got it.
Oh, so yeah, we gave you that one. All right,
Okay.
Last one.
We were good, we were gold, kind of dream that can't be sold.
Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
I can buy myself flowers.
I give you that.
Flowers. Okay. Y'all didn't want me singing it.
All right, so 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was an honor having you on. I really enjoyed our back and forth, and I believe the audience really enjoyed everything that you had to say and how we went from before and how you got here where you are so successful.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. I enjoyed it too. I always enjoy you and your staff, and I am so proud of you with this podcast. And thank you for letting me come on.
It's a pleasure. So now, if you could tell our audience how they can find you.
I have a website called Royalty Sweet Shop. It's shoppe.com. I am also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok with the same name, Royalty Sweet Shop LLC.
Again, thank you so much, and there it is.